motor car shapes and forms, mutilates and deforms might be better words, not only our cities, but whole city regions. Indeed, it seems to be the chief architect of our cities today, the most influential of all our city planners. Of course, the motor car is not in itself destructive. In the beginning, the motor car brought us adventure and pleasure, drew city and countryside together, gave us freedom of personal movement, and created hundreds of thousands of new jobs. But as we became increasingly dependent on the motor car, adventure and pleasure became danger and monotony. The countryside seems ever farther away. Freedom of movement becomes compulsion to keep on moving, and the sale and rapid obsolescence of motor cars have become national economic goals in many countries. This dependence on the motor car, this concentration on one form of transportation is not new. It began with the railroad era. At first, the railroad supplemented earlier forms of transportation. Canals, roads, rivers. This supplementary role did not last long.
In a ruthless drive for expansion that often was helped by huge government subsidies, the railroad soon came to dominate transportation. The population naturally began to build up along the main lines. And again, blindly aided by governments, the railroads extended their profitable mainline traffic. As their dominance strengthened, they concentrated their services in a relatively few big centers, the railroad cities. From railroad city to railroad city, their trains sliced across the countryside, and many a small town was reduced to a whistle stop as the mainliners pounded through, leaving behind only smoke. In the cities, the railroads drove to the heart. They brought with them not only the terminal and the sprawling freight and marshalling yards, but the dirt and squalor of their coal-burning locomotives. For the heart of the city, it meant the loss of building sites and open spaces, as some of its most valuable areas became wastelands of smoke and steel. Often, too, the railroad commandeered a waterfront or a once green valley, destroying the city's natural heritage. The railroad builders, perhaps, could not foresee the effect of their policies on the city and its region. But instead of profiting by their experience, the highway builders have, with magnificent fidelity, repeated some of their worst mistakes. Again, there was the single-minded concentration on one form of transport. Again, there were the government subsidies,